There is an entire subgenre of YouTube that is dedicated to the black pill. And if you're not familiar with it, the black pill is just depression that a bunch of people have tried to trick themselves into thinking is an ideology. And at the core of this ideology is the idea that because of modern feminism, most men are not going to be able to get into happy, healthy, fulfilling relationships because women have been too enabled and empowered. Maybe if you go to Thailand or something, you could get a nice woman who's there's some East Asian country or Eastern European, I can't remember what it is, where they still have good feminine traits, but they don't have any of those in the US or other Western countries anymore. So you're screwed, and you should just always be depressed about it because there's nothing you can do. That's the way of the world now. So accept the depression. And this Lunar guy, he's one of the saddest examples I found of this. I originally found out about him when the king of the sad black pill people was face doxxed, DBDR. His a couple pictures of him were leaked, and we found out, oh, the guy that talks about how he's so ugly and it makes him very depressed and sad and impossible to get into a relationship. He's just like an average looking chubby ginger. Oh, how horrible. You better run away from all of your socials. And that's exactly what he did. He abandoned his beloved channel, and all of the sad, depressed black pillars were even more sad and depressed and black pilled for a while. Maybe some of them still are, I don't know. But one of the people who covered that was this guy, Lunar, and I'm pretty sure this is his most viewed video still. For a while, my most viewed video was reacting to this, but just give you a little taste of this before I get into some newer stuff from him.
I made an earlier video today, and I was just pissed in the video, man. Because I have to take my cat to the vet to get a surgery, and it's a shit ton of money. Luckily, my dad's gonna help me out with it. And of course, the big news: DBDR got his face doxxed, and so his channel's gone. So basically, one of my only copes is pretty much gone at this point. And
One of his only copes. And he says that sort of thing a lot is you need a lot of copes to get through this life. And apparently one of the best ones is to listen to other people who are depressed upload YouTube videos about how depressing their life and life in general is.
I made a video on it earlier, but it was a shitty video. Like it was all over the place, and so I got rid of that video, and I kind of wanted to make a new video. Um, Honestly, this one's probably gonna be the same amount of all over the place because I have ADHD, and that's just how it fucking is. But I don't know, man. I'm just thinking about how I want to grow my channel at this point. Because like I was saying in that video, like I know a lot. I watch a lot of black pill channels, and
I'm pretty sure that he's referencing the video that he deleted, as if anyone is going to know what he's talking about. Even people who follow you may very well not know about that because you deleted it.
a lot of them like have started a lot earlier. I mean, a lot later than I have. Like I said in that video, I've been on YouTube since 2011, and I wasn't making black pill content at the time. I only started making black pill content like a few months ago at this point. But a lot of these guys just started a few months ago, and they already get like thousands of views on their videos, and they have thousands of subs. And I just like I don't know what I'm doing wrong to.
But yeah, so not going to get into the DBDR stuff, but I mean that that's what I listened to. I was like, oh, what a sad individual. Just right off the bat, my cat is dying. Had to go to the vet. Favorite YouTuber gone. And why is my YouTube channel not growing the way all these other people do? What am I doing wrong? So that I saw that and I was like, oh yeah, I want to follow this guy. And that's what I've been doing. This video here is called Wildlife Sanctuary Trip. I hate people.
So a couple days ago, I went to like an animal refuge type place because I don't like going to the zoo because you think about the zoo, like all the animals there, they're not. There's nothing wrong with them. There's no reason they should be there. They're just held in captivity so the zoo can make money. But when you go to like an animal sanctuary type place, like they're all there because they're injured and they couldn't survive out in the wild. So I don't know. It seems a lot more It's just nicer to go to a sanctuary. I feel
I understand is some zoos are like that too, or at least some of the animals. But either way, I agree with the sentiment.
way less bad about it. Like, yeah, there are cooler animals at the zoo, but like they don't. They're just prisoners there, man. It's really fucked up. Like most people don't see animals as like on the same level as them just because we can't communicate with them. Like people think they're like lesser beings, and that's fucked up, man. Like that's
Also, a lot of people think that because the Bible or whatever religion, I don't know if other religions do, but Christianity does pretty explicitly say humans are above the other animals. I think that's why a lot of people will think that.
that's one of those things where I think people look back. Like if we're still around in like 200 years, people look back and be like, "Wow, I can't believe we treated other sentient creatures like that just because we can't talk to them." Like it's really fucked, man. The fact that zoos exist and like factory farming and everything, it's just it terrifies me, honestly. Like I just can't believe that people do that. Like people are just evil as fuck, dude. And listen, I know this is like a common thing people say, but it's serious in my case. Like I just way prefer the company of animals versus human beings. I mean obviously humans are animals, but other animals besides humans basically, because humans are just awful, man. The way I think about humans.
Very, very hot take. Humans are bad, right? And I mean, sure, you could see the world in that way, but I mean, most people, I genuinely believe that most people want to be good, and it's just the fact that, you have to make a living and get by. That's what fuels most bad things that people do. People would still just do bad things besides that if they didn't have to focus on survival and stuff. But besides that, like the idea, are humans good or evil? The people who who insist that humans are evil, I don't understand what that mentality does for you. One, 'cause I don't think it's like this knowable thing. Are humans good or bad? So if that's the case, why not just believe that they're good? Wouldn't you rather live in a world where people are good if it is this unknowable, immeasurable thing? Just believe that. Why do you choose the one where every other inhabitant of this planet that I could potentially communicate with in any meaningful way is garbage and worthless and bad? There's such such core ideas that these people have. You're just priming them to be depressed and sad.
Humans, it's like we're one of the most complex supercomputers ever. Like imagine trying to interact with one of the most complex supercomputers ever. Like imagine the most like insane AI ever. Like that's terrifying, dude. Like I don't want to deal with that. People, you always have to like know exactly the right thing to say, or else they're gonna hate you and try to kill you and all this shit. And it's like I don't, dude. I just can't. I can't deal with that. Like I'm sorry. I actually relate a lot to the
To be this something, he cannot be bothered to put the energy into relationships that it requires, for them to be meaningful. But then, I mean, he'll say more here, but he's also very sad about the lack of a relationship.
character Poison Ivy from Batman because like she's not even a villain when you think about it. Like she's trying to save the plants and like kill everybody that's trying to mess with the plants, and it's like okay, but that's kind of base, dude. Like, and Batman even half the time he just wants to fuck her. He doesn't even, dude. It's over for Batman cells. Batman, any of the women rogues gallery in Batman, he just tries to fuck him. He never even tries to like beat the shit out of him or arrest them or anything because they're hot girls. So they get a pass from Batman. It's hilarious, dude. But yeah,
Is it? Is that not everything about the comic book characters, please?
Poison Ivy is like really relatable in that way. Um, I was listening to. I'm a big fan of like debates online. I like to listen to like philosophical debates and stuff. Um, I'm kind of like a. I guess you could say I'm progressive, kind of, but I'm also an incel. So like the incel shit gets tied in a lot with like right wing, but I don't think I'm right wing at all. Um, I'm definitely a lot more left wing, even though like the left wing hates
Yeah, I do not think that this guy is right wing either. From what I've heard of him, he definitely seems to lean left.
men. So that kind of sucks. But like economically, the left wing makes a lot more sense. Like, wealth should be redistributed and stuff. So I agree with all that, but yeah, I just wish they didn't hate me for shit I can't control. But hey, it'd be like that. You know, like each side acts like they're better than the other side, but like right wing people they just hate black people or whatever, and they're racist, and then left wing they hate you if you're male. So it's like you just can't win no matter what side. But at least the left wing is willing to try to like give you social programs and shit. So, but anyways, that's a tangent. So I was listening
Just every his perspective on everything is so depressing. I get most people have a very depressing outlook on politics. No, but that's why say just don't even bother with it. What are you gonna do? Make a difference?
to Destiny, and he was going
But every it's just there. This black pill thing it just leads in bleeds into every other aspect of their life, and it enables this resignation to just be over it and sad.
over like Jordan Peterson debates and shit. And I'm not really a big fan of Jordan Peterson, like the way he talks and shit. He like tries to obfuscate everything he talks about, but he talks a lot. Obviously, it's like a meme that he talks about Jungian archetypes all the time. So I was trying to like figure out what my dominant Jungian archetype is, because I guess you embody sort of all of them inside yourself. But so mine is the orphan. That kind of pissed me off though, because it's another name for the orphan is the everyman. And like I'm not a normie, dude. I don't want to be called an everyman. That pisses me off.
This really bothers him that his character type, and I don't know, some sort of personality test type thing or whatever, said that he's the orphan or the everyman. And the idea that he'd be an everyman is very upsetting to him. He does not want to be a normie. And that's just so bizarre. That's so bizarre to me. Like, what's wrong with being like one of the common folk? Isn't that what you want to be? Otherwise, you want to be what, some snooty elite who's above it, or some misfit reject? Would you really rather be one of those than just one of the people, one of everybody else?
Like there's something that really deep inside me that just really enjoys being different from other people, and because I've been like an outcast so long in my life that it honestly like it angers me to think that I'm like a normie in any way at this point. Like I've embraced it so much in my being that I don't even want to be like other people because I'm just so disgusted by like the way they've treated me in my life. So like yeah, I'm kind of proud of not being a normie at this point.
Like an aspect of this can be cool. Right? Yeah, I don't care about their judgment or whatever. So I just am my own self. But then you shouldn't use that to allow yourself to be a loser and be okay with that, right? Like be somebody who goes against the grain in whatever ways that you want to, but also have a job and work towards your career and develop friendships and hobbies and stuff. Like, why does it have to lead to give up?
Like it's the same way like women call themselves bitches, because they get called a bitch, so they like reappropriate it and call themselves bitches. That's how I feel about being like, a loser. Like, yeah, I'm adopting that title and I'm proud of it. Like, fuck, whatever. Like,
Right? Like you can be a misfit or an outsider without being a loser. You should not want to wear being a loser as a badge of honor. If you want that, just do your own thing or be an outcast or that's fine. It's still a little bit lame to think you're so special and all of that. But if you use that to lead a happy life, then fair enough.
I know it's not something you should be proud of, but like, I don't know. It's a sign of like how far I've come. Like, I haven't roped yet, even though my life has been pretty shit. Um, I don't know. My life isn't like that bad as far as like having my needs met. All in every way except socially. Like I'm just socially I just have nothing, dude. I don't have any friends. I've never had a girlfriend before. And like I crave it so bad. Like friends maybe I don't even I could take or leave friends really to be honest, but a girlfriend, man, I just want a girlfriend so bad. And I can't
Like, how insane is that to say? I could take or leave friends, but I really want a girlfriend. how are you gonna be able to have a healthy relationship if you're not practicing with anybody else? You know, because you said you haven't dated anyone else before, so what do you have to go off of other than other interpersonal relationships that aren't romantic? You know, because there's a lot of overlap, a lot of basic stuff that that still applies.
Can't even pin down exactly why, but it's just like, I don't know, to have somebody to like cuddle at night and, talk to about like nerdy shit and just all the thoughts on my mind and stuff. It would be cool, but it's never going to happen. I'm 25 at this point. I'm going to be 26 in a few months.
And like the stuff that they say they want is it's pretty superficial. Like the surface level stuff of a relation, someone to cuddle with at night and to like explain your problems to.
About like nerdy shit and just all the thoughts on my mind and stuff.
Yeah, nerdy stuff and the thoughts on his mind. So it wants to unload on this this woman and essentially make them a therapist. Which, especially if you're not interested in friendships, that's gonna be what happens. You're gonna want this woman to essentially be your therapist. And that's where you run into this problem where men say, "Oh, women don't want vulnerable men because they have an experience where, they're vulnerable and it's too much, so it ends up, being a turn off or weirding out the woman." But that's because men don't have as close relationship with their other male friends. So they don't talk about these little things and problems that they have and deal with them on a regular, reoccurring basis. So then they get into a relationship and they unload all of it at once, just years of like trauma, and they expect this person to help them deal with it. And you can't do that. It's not going to work. You have to learn the emotional intelligence before you get into a relationship, or that first relationship or the first few are probably going to fail because you're learning it there.
It would be cool, but it's never going to happen. I'm 25 at this point. I'm going to be 26 in a few months. Like, if it didn't happen now, it's just not going to happen. So
He's almost 26, so if it didn't happen now, it's never happening. Just crazy. Like, it genuinely just sounds so silly to say. Oh, I I haven't found anyone to settle down with and live the rest of my life with, and I'm already 26, so it's never gonna happen. Like with the right delivery, that could it could be 100% a joke to as like, listen to how lacking in self-awareness this person is.
I guess that's just, a dream I have to give up on. But anyways, yeah, so back to talking about the animal shelter that I went to, or whatever you want to call it, sanctuary, whatever. But yeah, so I went there. It was kind of fun. I didn't stay long because, again, it's like really hot outside. But I went there for a little bit, and they mostly just had like a lot of birds there. And so my favorite bird that I saw there was a crow, and the little sign there was saying like he's super friendly and everything. So I'm like, oh, cool. Let me go try to interact with this crow a little bit because I know crows. Like the crow is the first thing I wanted to go see because I know crows are like super intelligent. So I wanted to see if I could kind of like chill with this crow and see if he wanted to like interact with me. And he was really cute, man. I remember he grabbed a stick and he was trying to like poke the stick through the gate. I was thinking that he was trying to give it to me as like a gift, as like a form of communication with me. That was my guess. Or he could have just been fucking around with a stick. I don't know. But I wanted to grab it from him, but the sign said don't put your fingers through the gate because the birds might attack you. And I didn't think this crow would attack me, but just to be safe, I kind of just didn't put my fingers through. But I thought it was like sweet of him to do that. And he kept like following me. I kept like walking around the gate to see if he'd like follow me, and he did. So I think that crow liked me, and I liked him too. It's cool. I would have been his friend. And they also had a raven there.
It's just so weird. It seems like he got a lot out of this interaction with the crow. And that did a lot for. Why don't you just do more of these sorts of things that you enjoy and bring you happiness, right? If you don't like people and you don't want to do that, find hobbies and stuff like that, sure. Wh- Like it's just so crazy to me that he can do simple things like go to an animal sanctuary and have a interaction with a a crow with a stick and be like, "Yeah, I almost made a friend, and then be so miserable. Like, just do more of that stuff, man. Come on.
which is honestly, it's just a bigger version of a crow. Like they're both in the corvid family. So that was cool too. I think ravens are honestly a little less smart than crows. I think weirdly enough because they're bigger. But that was cool. The raven was cool. He kept like playing. There was like a ball in his cage, and he kept like pecking at it to squeak it. And I thought that was really cute too. He's like a little doggo, but he's a bird. He's a winged doggo.
He says he doesn't want to be a normie, but he just used the word doggo. Straight up doggo. I mean, you're a normie. You can actually never abandon the normie status now. Doggo is one of those words, even me saying it in context like this, I'm permanently forever a normie now that I've said doggo. That's that's just how it goes.
And dude, I just think about how cool it would be to have a pet raven. Like that would just fulfill all my goth fantasies, dude. Be like Edgar Allan Poe type shit, and just have a pet raven and fucking, cause Edgar Allan Poe totally had a pet raven, right? That's like a thing. Um, but I don't know. Just wouldn't it be epic to just have a crow on your shoulder and just like tell him, hey, go. He'll do anything. He'll go and like get your mail, or he'll attack people that try to fuck with you. Like I don't know, man. I want a pet raven or a crow. Like either way, they're just a really cool.
Why don't you do that, right? I don't think you buy pet crows or ravens. You like befriend a wild one. I don't think I don't maybe if it's injured or something and you nurse it back to health or something, that might be a house crow or whatever. But otherwise, don't you just befriend a neighborhood crow or raven? I I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure I saw a TikTok about some gardener that was trying to befriend a raven of his, and he was offering it. Yeah, because it kept messing with his garden, so he was offering it food of its own, and then it was eating the food, and then it started bringing him shiny objects. So just do that, right? You love this so much. Why don't you just try and befriend a raven or a crow? They're all over the place.
Cool bird, like all black, like sleek looking bird. They're cool, man. I love birds. One thing I really think the birds are just gonna take over again. Like I think the reign of dinosaurs will come again because birds can really like survive a lot of shit that humans can't. Like if shit floods or something, or like there's horrible fires, like a lot of natural disasters, they could just easily escape. Like having wings is such an advantage, and I really think
That is a good point, man. Having wings is such an advantage. That's funny.
like when humans are long gone, birds are just gonna take over again. And I'm all for it, dude. Birds, like they're just so cool. There's so many different types of birds, and one thing I think about too is like all birds have a specific call. They do like mating calls and everything, and a lot of them are just really beautiful and melodic. And that's like one thing that birds and humans have in common that a lot of other animals don't, which is just the ability to produce like beautiful melodies, especially if we're like looking for a partner or something. And that's just really interesting to me. Like, we're not even that close to birds, really, but like we have that in common that other animals don't. So it's just really cool. I wonder a lot about like what it is too that makes humans like what evolutionarily makes humans enjoy music. Like people say it's like pattern recognition, but that's bullshit, dude. Because when you're listening to a song you really like, it's
Feels very strongly about that. Do not say that humans enjoy music because of pattern recognition, all right? That's nonsense. Don't you dare say
a
that.
lot more than just, oh, I appreciate this pattern. Like it really does, and it's more than just like a
I mean, I do agree. I don't think it's just pattern recognition. I've never heard that before, that's the whole reason why we enjoy music.
language. Like there's something really visceral about music that's like really enjoyable. Um, but I don't know. So yeah, that was a fun time at that sanctuary. I'd like to go back to some more sanctuaries around me, but the problem is like all the ones that I want to go to are like super far away. So it might not even be worth it. But yeah, I like going there, and yeah,
Do that. Go feed the birds. Get some bird seed and sit at a bench and feed the birds. I feel like you would love that. You'd feel like a provider for the birds. Give you some. some reason to get out and go go do something every day because the birds depend on you for a snack.
I don't really know what else to say in this, so yeah, thanks for watching.
Oh, you are welcome. Okay, so this one, why do I want a relationship? He said he doesn't really know why in that other video, but he explains why he does in this video.
Listen, Morty, I hate to break it to you, but what people call love is just a chemical reaction that compels animals to breed. It hits hard, Morty, then it slowly fades, leaving you stranded in a failing marriage. I did it. Your parents are gonna do it. Break the cycle, Morty. Rise above. Focus on science.
So I've been thinking about why I even
Oh yeah, that was deep, dude. Rick and Morty makes you think.
want a relationship in the first place, right? What are the reasons to get into a relationship? What are the benefits for me? And I started to think, well, most of the, reasons people get into a relationship don't even apply to me. Well, let's think about the biggest reason people do get into a relationship, right? It's to have kids. And I'm an anti-natalist. I don't ever want to have kids. I don't want to drag some poor being out of the fucking void to
Go ahead and don't want to have kids. I don't want to have kids either. I would just suggest you don't refer to yourself as an anti-natalist. Because that, to me, that sounds like someone who wants to put a stop to babies, right? Just don't have kids.
live in this shithole world. So that's kind of off the table. So what else? Well, I guess, second on the list would be sex. I find sex kind of gross. I wouldn't call myself asexual. I could be like kinky and stuff, but the actual like PIV sex is just kind of disgusting to me. And I would do it, but yeah, I guess I could take or leave it. That's
So he's saying that the two biggest ones that he thinks people want a relationship for, those don't apply to him. And it's funny, I actually relate to this guy on quite a few things because I agree. PIV, gross. Well, I just think the human body entirely is gross, right? Why, why would you ever want to look at a P or a V or a B? It's all disgusting, right? It would be much better if we were all just sentient mannequins.
that's another thing where it's like the downsides outweigh the benefits. Like you could potentially get an STD, you could potentially get her pregnant. It's like I don't know, is it really worth it for like because I'm circumcised, so it doesn't feel good while I'm doing it. It only feels good at like during orgasm, and that's what like a few seconds. Like, is it really worth it? I don't think so. It's just a lot of work for very little reward. So, I really don't care about sex. Thanks, Mom. Thanks for chopping off part of my dick. GG there. So what's next on the list? The biggest thing for me, I think, is the sort of emotional validation you get when you're with a woman. Because as much as I don't want to have kids, when a woman's with you, what does that kind of signal to you? Well, she thinks that your genes are a viable. She thinks your genes are viable to pass on. Um, and what does it tell you when
I think she thinks your genes are viable. You got a chance.
no one woman wants you? Well, I don't think you're valuable for the species. I don't think your genes are worthy of passing on. And that hurts, man. It really does fucking hurt to know that nobody would want to have a kid with you. Even you know what I mean. Like I don't want to have a kid, but just potentially would want to. Um,
Yeah, I think one of the biggest inhibitors you have is that you have a YouTube channel dedicated to being depressed. And a lot of the YouTubers that you like to watch do the same thing. I mean, you just gotta think on a base level. What, like, is anybody gonna want to sign up for a relationship with somebody who's just woe is me? And and if you're not gonna be like that, if you think your salvation from the woe is to get into a relationship. So this person is supposed to save you from the depths of sadness and depression. That's just too much for someone to want to sign up for the most part. Maybe somebody else who's desperate or whatever, but yeah, you can't do that. It's not gonna work.
see me as like genetically fit, I guess. So But then again, it's
Okay, and I also the genes part. That's probably a bit too much. I don't think most people or women like to think of it in in terms of that.
like seeking emotional validation from somebody, like getting in a relationship for that, isn't that kind of just like jerking yourself off with extra steps? You know, it's like having another person to tell you how great you are. Like a lot of these blue pillars will say like love yourself, and I think that's kind of like cap. I think that's kind of a stupid platitude. But in some ways, they're
Loving yourself is cap. I could get the platitude part, sure, but it's cap to love yourself.
right. Like, I guess it is a little weird to seek validation from somebody else, but it's also perfectly normal, and like that's what everybody does. But I think everybody's fucking crazy, so you know. Um, so what else? What are other reasons to get in a relationship? Um, Financial support. I don't really want to support somebody financially. We live in a time of like feminism and stuff. Like, I think we should be on equal footing financially. I don't really have a drive in me to protect or provide for a woman because I'd see her as my equal. And I think it's kind of unfair. Like, if she has all the same rights as me, why do I still have to, protect and provide for her? It just doesn't seem very fair. And so,
Well, the reason here because you didn't learn the emotional intelligence part. Like in the past, before women started working as much, women they had to really specialize in the emotional intelligence so that they could navigate the relationships because all the guys had to do was get a job. They didn't have to bother with the emotional intelligence because if they had a job, that was enough that a woman would pretty much need to get with him. But now that women are working, they've already learned the emotional intelligence and they pass that down to their daughters and they learn it from their friendships as they grow up too. And now they're making money. So they have both of those. The guys still just make the money and they're not learning the emotional intelligence. You have to learn that part. Otherwise you're missing like half of the two main things that you need with this analysis at least. But I mean, really, because you don't offer all that much. They already have a job, so they don't need your money. If you don't have the emotional intelligence, it's just going to be exhausting. It's like being a therapist or having a kid. It's that sort of emotional labor for them. And especially you said he doesn't even care about friendships. Like how how do you expect to learn the skills without burning your relationships to the ground while you learn them?
what are that leaves me with what 0.0000001% of the population, if that, that would be willing to get with me. Because keep in mind, like I'm already a manlet. I don't want to. I'm submissive. Um, like no woman wants that, you know. And of course, women are gonna, they're gonna virtue signal. They're gonna be like, oh no, I've dated short guys before. Of course, I'm not anymore. I'm actually dating a 6'5" Chad right now, but I've dated a short guy before. It just didn't work out. Like, oh, it didn't work out, huh? Wow, what?
Okay, this guy, he said he likes to watch Destiny, and I know I've heard other people say this, but I know I've heard Destiny say this. Unless you're under like 5'6" as a guy, it just doesn't matter. Yes, it obviously helps to be 6 foot or taller, no doubt. But it's not that is not what is inhibiting you from any relationships, right? Like if you have the personality and the emotional intelligence stuff figured out and you're 5'8", you're totally fine, right? Sure, there's a percentage of women that you're not going to be able to date because they only date tall guys, but I mean, every physical feature does that on some level. The height thing, it just is not that big of a deal unless it's really bad. If you're really short as a guy, then yeah, fair enough. But I don't think he says what his height is, so I'm assuming he's a little bit below average, like 5'7" at the worst.
What a surprise there, huh? Damn. But yeah. I don't know, man. I really just, as much as it's difficult, I really just need to permanently resign myself to the fact that it's never gonna begin for me, you know?
He needs to permanently resign himself to it. That's what I'm talking about. The black pill is not, it's not an ideology. It's just some BS they use to enable them being sad, to make it so that they don't need to work on it or get over it. Figure out the emotional intelligence to navigate life. It's just a way to enable the sadness and the depression and not doing anything about it.
Um, there's no woman on this planet that would want somebody like me, as sad as that is. And
No, that's not that's not sad.
it is sad, you know, because it's frustrating when you see all these women going for these chads. You see them going for guys that obviously, aren't the best for their mental health. Yet here's someone like me who, like, I genuinely have been and would be a good partner. Like, I don't care. That's just true. Like, I would be a good partner. I know that to my core.
Yeah, I don't think that many good partners regularly upload depression videos and follow a bunch of other depression people. I feel like I feel like the fact that you're not getting that is just like so core to your problem. But you have to drop this stuff. You can't be engaging in this content when this is how you feel about the world. You need to go hang out with the birds more, and your plants or whatever other hobbies you have.
I would I would provide for her emotionally. I would provide for her, in those ways.
Like I believe that he would want to do that, but he doesn't have the know-how to do it. Maybe he could pick it up along the way, but if this person, is if this woman is of average woman's emotional intelligence, that's going to be very tiring for her, and you're going to have to learn really quick if you want to hang on to that relationship.
I just wouldn't. I wouldn't be the.
That's why it's much better to learn these things slowly over time with your friends who are going to be more forgiving, and your family who, uh, you know, a lot of the time are ridiculously forgiving with that stuff, as long as they see any amount of effort, or no effort, honestly, with a lot of these family people. But it's not as high stakes if you learn it along the ways with these people. But now it's like do or die once you get into this relationship, and you're putting so much on it. It's like your only shot at happiness. And then if you lose that, it's over, and you're not doing anything to prepare for it so that you don't lose this thing that you think is going to be so precious and save your life.
the main breadwinner, I guess. I would just want us to share like the financial burden and all that, but I would provide for her in other ways. But that's not how it works. If you're not Chad, if you're not wealthy, if you don't have something to give them in the transaction.
Okay. I'm no Chad. I'm not wealthy, and I'm not saying I'm the ultimate ladies man or whatever, but it's never been a problem for me like this where I'm like upset about it, and oh, how would I ever get a partner to be attracted to me, and I'm just gonna be alone and sad for I've never felt that way. I'm not a Chad or wealthy or any of that sort of stuff. It is all cope and all enabling the sadness. All of this stuff is.
Then you're just shit out of luck. And you know what really upsets me about this whole transaction that goes on between men and women? Well, think about it, right? What do men provide in the transaction? They provide provision and protection. Okay. That takes a lot of work. That takes hard work. You have to go out to work. You have to
They do too. They go to work too.
make the bread.
Especially that you're 26, right? Maybe if you were still in college at like 2021, yeah, maybe they don't have a job also and their parents are paying for stuff. But no, you're 26 now. They're working too.
To give to her. You have to put yourself in front of a fucking bullet if need be. Okay, so that's
I mean, does anybody really believe when are guys protecting women physically like that, right? Like, I get having a guy with you can protect you from a lot of nonsense and stuff, but it's not bullets for sure. It's definitely not bullets. It's just so nonsense. So it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go to work, and then if somebody tries to shoot you, I'll try and jump in the way. And then can you be my therapist and maid and mom? Does that sound like a fair trade? No, not that. No, it just does not at all. And I don't know what his opinions are about doing chores around the house and cleaning and that sort of thing. But I get the impression not super keen on doing that stuff too. Maybe not. I could be wrong.
That's the men's side of the transaction. What's
But most guys are not. Even guys that lean left, a lot of them are not. They're not crazy about doing chores and and sharing the load of the household chores.
the women's side? Give us sex. Okay, how much work does that take to open your legs up? Like, I'm sorry, I know that this sounds like misogynistic, but come on. Like, can we just be real here for a second? Like, I don't know, man. It's just crazy.
If that's what you think, that's all that they have to do for a relationship. Why do you want one? Because I mean, you even said you're not interested in sex, but all a woman has to bring to a relate is opening her legs. It makes no sense. And again, why would a woman want to be with a guy who thinks that that's all she's going to bring to the table? Oh, it's a leg opener. Perfect. Come on in.
So it's just like, I just look at all these factors and I'm like, is a relationship even worth it at the end of the day? If this is what a relationship actually is, if it's me having to fucking potentially die, having to go out and bust my ass every day for somebody that at the end of the day is probably just going to leave me anyways, is it really worth it? You know? And I'm really just starting to think that it's not. And of course, I'm never going to be okay with that. I'm always going to, desire and crave a relationship. But then if I take off my Disney lens and look at the world for what it really is, it's just not fucking. It's not. It doesn't exist, dude. Love doesn't exist. It's like Rick from Rick and Morty said, dude. I know that's cringy. Like, oh, Rick from Rick and Morty is my role model, but dude, is he wrong? Like, come on, love is not a real thing. It's just fucking oxytocin release. Once the honeymoon phase wears off, they both parties grow to resent each other, but usually it's the woman who breaks it off. I mean, 80% of divorces and everything. So I
And I think he's saying 80% of divorces are initiated by women. I think that's what he's referencing. Which how does that mean it's the woman's fault, right? If anything, you would think that means the man is unbearable, so she has to initiate divorce, right? I don't think you can really look at it that simply. That's a very like binary factor to just judge an entire relationship off of. But if anything, I think I would lean that way.
I don't believe in love. Um, I don't know.
And this is this sort of, well, you say you don't want friends and stuff like that. So I guess that makes sense if you don't believe in love because you don't really believe in relationships, except for this fairy tale life-saving conception you have of a romantic relationship.
I'm just entirely black-pilled on the whole ordeal, and it's just really depressing. This is something I think about like almost.
It is depressing to listen to your worldview. Like I understand why someone who thinks the way that you do would be sad. I don't understand why you think the way you do, but I understand why you'd be sad.
All day, every fucking day of my life is just how badly I just want love to be real. You know, I think Hollywood has really done a number on us, man. Hollywood has sold us this lie that we'll find true love. All these fucking Disney movies, they end.
Yeah, sure, the Hollywood depiction of true love, that might not be a real thing, but there are lots of people who end up together and are very happy, much happier than they would have been on their own, greater than the sum of their parts, all of that. But yeah, sure, the fairy tale stuff doesn't really exist. Most people, they don't end up with their high school sweetheart or whatever it is. Like, why does it matter if this silly thing from a movie doesn't exist?
You know, in the
Right, you can still get plenty out of these relationships, even if it's not like the movies.
end, they're just all happy together. You don't see what happens after the movie ends. You don't see fucking Cinderella and Prince Charming or whatever the fuck. You don't see them arguing about their financial situation. You don't see
Cinderella was like a servant to her own family before that, right? It's so like it was all sunshine and rainbows for her before the movie started.
Cinderella cheating with with the milkman or whatever the fuck. Do milkmen still exist? Probably not. But like you don't see any of that in these movies, and I think that's really just fucked up our whole society, and it gives us this false idea that we're gonna meet somebody and it's just gonna last forever, and this whole idea of like twin flames. Fucking twin flame, dude, give me a break. There's nobody on this planet that's gonna truly understand you except for yourself. There's nobody. The closest you're gonna get is like your parents and like, you know, people in your
Like, there's so many of these. Happiness is it's not possible. It can't be attained. The good version of this, not possible. Strike it from your mind. Not happening. You could get maybe the average outcome, but more than likely you're getting the sad, depressing, bad outcome. All right, just get used to it. Just every aspect of their lives is polluted by this nonsense.
your family. That's the closest you're gonna get to like unconditional love in this world, you know? And of course, like I guess a dog, but even a dog, dude. I know so many dogs that just fucking attack their owners out of the blue. I don't. Dogs scare the shit out of me, dude. I would never own a dog. They're fucking. I don't like dogs, dude. I do love cats though. Cats are fucking.
I mean, if you if you don't like dogs, you don't like dogs, sure. But they've been domesticated and bred to enjoy our company. So I don't know how much you can draw from that.
Adorable. I love them. I like dogs, but I would never own one. You know. Anyway, that's a tangent. But fucking, dude, never own a pet that could like murder you. Like seriously, if you have a cat and your cat starts going sicko mode, what's the worst he's gonna do? You know, you can just fucking punt them away if you had to.
I feel like it would be easier to stop a dog from clawing your throat out than it would be a cat. Like if a cat really wanted to, I feel like they're just gonna get at your throat and your face and all of that, and really mess you up. I remember Joe Rogan on a really early episode of his podcast told a story about he started like feeding some feral cat or something, and it was in his house, and he needed to take it to the vet, and he was not sure how to get it in the car and stuff and take it there so that it could do all the stuff that they needed to do at the vet. And it was insane how difficult it was for him to do this. He was like tearing curtains off the curtain rods and threw it on top of the cat, and then like bunched it up in there and threw it in a laundry basket or something. But he said his forearms were all completely clawed up and it was a big mess. I feel like a dog, you could just, give them a good kick in the head, they might run away and then you can hide or get away from them. But the cat that climbs everything, I don't know. I don't like my chances either way.
But a dog, dude, fuck that. Freaking easily just tear your arm off with its jaw. Like, fuck no. Anyways, I don't know how I got on this topic, but yeah, so the only one who's gonna truly love you is a dog. So basically what I'm saying is commit bestiality, start fucking dogs. No, but
Whoa.
yeah, it's just there's no true love in this world, man. And it really hurts to say, and when I look at all these factors,
Does it? I mean, maybe if you're 13, it would hurt. Oh, there's no true love. Your eighth grade girlfriend or boyfriend broke up with you, whatever age that is at then. But at 26, you should not be this broken up over the idea that true love from the Disney movies isn't a very real thing.
together, it's like there's no reason to be in a relationship. There really is just there's nothing that I can gain from it except validation, which You know, as great as it is that really like enough to justify, you know, having somebody in my house all day? Is it really enough to have somebody who's gonna sprawl their fucking makeup out all in my bathroom and fucking I don't know. I'm just coping at the end of the day because it would be nice to have somebody around. And
But yeah, you clearly want it. But that's another thing I kind of relate to him on. I mean, I'm not interested in a relationship really at all. But if I ever did think that I wanted it, I would be really stuck on the fact that, oh man, I'm gonna have to let this person in my house regularly and give up this space that I have for myself on some level. I don't think I want to do that. But this guy, he clearly does. He wants to get past that and have a relationship. You're coping.
you know, do hobbies with and I you know, I just want somebody who's like my best friend but also my lover, you know. That I think that's what everybody wants. But I'm way past that fucking train at this point, dude. I'm going to be 26.
I mean, you're not way past, but you do need to start doing the work. You need you need to learn how to have relationships oh, pretty quickly, or yeah, you're gonna be 40 years old and you not have learned any of this. Still be constantly overloading every woman you come across, overloading her emotionally with all of your problems and expecting way too much out of a relationship.
Like the only time you're going to meet somebody who's your best friend and your lover is like high school. I'm well past that point. At this point, women are looking for a serious like protection and provisioning and all that, and most of them want to have kids around this point. So I'm just fucked. Um yeah. Anyways, I guess that's about it. So, yeah, I'll see you guys later.
Oh man, I mean, really, it's just it's insane to me what a depressing outlook they have on everything. I don't understand why people get so sucked into this stuff. It has no answers. It does address some of the problems that young men are facing these days and the whole they're feeling lonely and stuff, but it doesn't give any real solutions. And from what I've heard, men are just less happy being alone. I think it's something like 37% of women are happy enough to be single, but it's like 24% of men are happy enough being single. All right. This is not the answer. This is not going to solve your problem of being lonely, this whole hopelessness and denying the just obvious need that you need to learn the emotional intelligence, right? The women, they had to learn that a while ago, and they picked up the whole having a job thing pretty quick. They didn't seem to struggle with it nearly as much as the guys struggling with the emotional intelligence part. It's oh, it drives me nuts because it is just the absolute worst, just a poison ideology. It addresses their problems and then exacerbates them as much as possible and gives it just no answers.